Welcome to Stories from the Spirit Healer Animal Rescue Circle. Today we have Cali, Linda Anderson's kitty, who was treated with 3 shamanic journeys for a large, suspicious growth on her neck. First, I'll share Linda's synopsis, and then I'll show you excerpts from the recordings of those animal circles so you can see exactly how these shamanic journeys go and how we help our animal friends with shamanic healing. This is Cali, a domestic short-hair female tortie who's about 5 years old in her dress-up collar. In early December, the community circle began working with her, and then they worked with her again later December for a growth on the back of her neck. She had been taken to the vet with medication administered and a topical ointment prescribed with a date set to do a biopsy and a removal for exploration surgery. During her healing sessions, spirits and guide brought forth this information. 1. It was a possible allergy to food she was eating with a suggestion to explore new diets for her. 2. There were tendril-like legs going down from the skin irritation surface, which were energetically worked on to begin to eliminate them. And 3. She had emotional trauma left over from our move to a new state and home. After 3 visits to the vet for medication and 3 healing sessions, Cali's troublesome mysterious growth is now just a small scabby area, which I continue to treat with topical cream and is dissipating. No surgery was required. The vet additionally suggested a food change, which I'm in the middle of transitioning her into, and I have to say she is not liking. Thanks to all the practitioners in the Animal Healing Circle for their kind and compassionate caring and their willingness to help all animals. Linda Anderson.
And I've got one, my Calico.
All right.
She's been to the vet and she has a growth on her back, and we're vetting it with antibiotics to get rid of the infection, and then we'll do a culture. I don't know if it's going to be cancerous or not, but her behavior has changed dramatically. She's suddenly become super affectionate when she was not so before. And I'm wondering if she's just not feeling well and if things are not going well for her. But I am pursuing things with the vet for her. Now, of all of those, does anyone have a resonation or an inkling that they would like to work with anyone in particular today? Great.
And let me do Cali.
All right.
This was completely different than anything I've ever done. So as the call-in was happening from the east, I was presented with some scissors, and I expected we'd be using them in the healing, and that did not happen. So I'm not sure what the scissors were about, but they are present. So I was standing in the center of a circle with dirt under my feet, and as I walked through this dirt, you could see footprints as I walked towards this hill with lots of stone boulders, and this is all southwest kind of landscape. And Callie is sitting on one of the stones waiting for me, and as I walk up to her, she hops on my shoulder, and then we walk forward, and there's an opening in this hillside that is covered with cloth, and we walk through that into a space within the hill, but there's a really large opening that you could see out over a very big landscape, sort of Montezuma's castle kind of thing. And so we're in this space, it's ancient, and I sit down Indian style in front of a space that has had sacred fire in it before. Callie is still on my shoulder, and as I am seated, the flame ignites before us, and there are dancers dancing around us. They're all in traditional ceremonial dress, perhaps some kachinas. I wasn't sure about that. And they were dancing, circling us, calling forward the healing energies of the stones of the earth and the stars overhead. The stones are marked with petroglyphs, which gives them very powerful healing voices. Paul, I wondered if this had something to do with your area. And so this is going on around us, And I'm thinking, so what does this have to do with the healing of Cali? And they explain that it has to do with the rebalancing of energies within her. And as things settle into place, she feels more and more settled and comfortable. So Callie and I are sitting there by the fire with the stone and the stars, and Noah, my healer, steps forward and takes my hand, and we're leaving ourselves behind there in the circle with this ceremony going on. And some part of me and Callie steps forward with Noah, and we go to the healing space in the Dragon Village. And as Callie gets off my shoulder, I can see her on the table, and there are several healers gathered around. Generally, there are 3 in addition to Noah. And there is a light that's shining down on Callie's back, and it looked like a directed light, a sort of laser-like, but it's green, and it beams down into the spaces on her back and into them deep. And what they said is it's deeply disturbing the coherence of these growths. So allowing them to dismember themselves and be scooped away. And I could see the hands of one of the healers moving across, scooping him into the waiting hand and putting him in the nearby violet flame. And as that clears away, the light continues, but now it turns from green to yellow and goes deeply into the trace roots that the outer expression had some kind of connection inside, and it follows all of that down and zaps them. And they use some kind of very fine mesh cloth as sort of a strainer and pull through her body to remove any residue. And that also goes into the violet flame. And then they said that there was something in the general interior of Callie, in her organs someplace, and it seemed like it might be digestive. And what I got was that there's some kind of an irritant in her system. It's possibly an allergy. And what they showed me were those little tiny, lift top cans of cat food, perhaps with an orange label. It looked like there were some other colors as well, but that orange color came through, and that they would help soothe the underlying disturbance. And as that was happening, Callie sighed and relaxed. And she also wanted to say that how much she appreciates all the love and attention that you give her. And I completely forgot to do the healing for the larger community. So it was all focused on Callie, although I'm thinking that ceremonial circle spread out to a more universal application.